What's up, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore. You're listening to the Night Owl Podcast, and I'm so grateful that you keep coming back and listening to more. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. We just got through Mahasivaratri last night, and I know for those of you who went out and performed and actually sat with the Kutam in the temples, like all that stuff, mass amounts of love to all of you, because that stuff is not easy, especially with the crowd. And if you're definitely going there to really like soak up the vibes and pray and open your heart and all of those things, it's such a beautiful thing to witness in person. Now, for those of you who didn't go out, no problem there either. If you thought of God for a little bit, if you were just trying to ground yourself and calm yourself and you had work to do, whatever the case may be, I'm really, really glad that you did what you had to do, especially on that very, very holy night. Now, for people that don't know, Sivaratri happens once a month. That's 12 times a year. But Mahasivaratri is the most auspicious of all those events, which means everybody comes together. The energies are aligned. It's a very, very powerful night. So it's not for the faint of heart. A lot of people stay up all night to chant, to dance, to sing, to pray together. And I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful idea. And if you're able to do it, great. If you're not able to do it the way that everyone else does, that's still cool. But you got to do what's good for you, right? Anyway, I thought I would name this episode the target audience because I was listening to, I was watching a TV show. Sorry, not TV show, it's a movie. It's called Can You Keep a Secret? And it's very, very cute. It's about a particular product that they're trying really hard to market. And this brand is built around the product itself. And for some reason, their target audience was millennials because, well, who doesn't target all their audiences? Who doesn't target all their products for millennials, right? But what was going on was it was not reaching. The message was not hitting with the millennials for some reason. But what they didn't think to do, only one person thought about it, was to figure out who the actual audience was. Because the product wasn't failing completely. It was still being bought. They just couldn't figure out, why millennials weren't buying it. So instead, what they decided to do was look at who was buying it, who was talking about it, and then retarget, reprogram towards the actual audience versus the target audience. Now, a lot of us do the same damn thing in business. I'm not a business coach, but I'm going to tell you what my experience is so far. Right now, I think the people that would be interested in this kind of a message as far as emotional intelligence, as in, working on, clearing all your old trauma, working through all that pain, that dark night of the moon kind of work. I thought it was going to be people who had lived a little bit, which means it was going to be parents, my generation, the 80s babies, maybe people from before then. But what's going on is actually the people who respond to my posts, if they're not family members or friends of mine, like physical, like people who actually know me, it's actually young people who are having trouble managing the little things that are happening in their life because it's so many of them so often, and they feel like they're being bombarded all the time. Like it's a series of unfortunate events, basically. It's almost like Murphy's Law happens to them every day and they just can't seem to get out of it. And so their mind is giving them a lot of trouble. So what I ended up having to do is speak to more of this demographic. It just so happens that millennials actually, respond to my stuff. But it just so, once I figured that out, I had to go down and sit and talk to these people and try and figure out what it is that they're experiencing. Where is this stuff coming from? Why am I resonating with them? Mostly because I am not so old that I appeal to people my age and older. I am young enough in my activities and the way that I speak and the things that I do, like pop culture wise or whatever, that I still relate to people that are younger than me. And even then, I'm able to give you 360 degrees of a situation and various different what is the word I'm looking for? Examples of how this happens in various aspects of your life. So the way that I teach appeals to millennials, even though the message is for everyone. If you've noticed, I talk about parenting, I talk about marriage, I talk about dating, I talk about work-life balance, I talk about office politics, I talk about all that stuff, which is why you can't really pin me down in one area. It's generally emotional intelligence. But what I want to make sure you understand is just because one demographic likes me more than another demographic doesn't mean that the message is moot. It means that the way I speak, the way I teach is just suited for a different kind of people. It's all good. There's going to be a teacher for you wherever you are, whatever you're doing. When you're ready to actually learn and move on, there's going to be a teacher for you. In the meantime, I need people to really understand if you have a business, if you're trying really hard to market a product or a service, you need to get the ideal client out of your head and look at who actually resonates. So for me, what I ended up having to do is just put out the content, just put it out, find my voice, try and figure out what it is that I'm trying to say the way that I want to say it. What is my voice? I like video. I like the fact that IGTV is limited to 10 minutes. And I like the fact that, just the regular feed is limited to 60 seconds. I think I can manage those things. If I were to sit there and do a masterclass webinar, I'd need a lot of feedback in order to get to a full masterclass, which is part of the reason when I do my live classes on Instagram, I have somebody else on with me. It's not just me. I don't think I could take the sound of my own voice for a whole hour. But if I had someone with me, as in a co-host or an assistant teacher, then we at least have a little bit of a banter and we can go back and forth on our different experiences and give you more of an understanding of the concept we're trying to teach. So with that being said, it took me a really long time. Like I said, I started my business about 3 years ago. I've been through coaching programs. I've been through mentors. I've paid for programs. I've had free programs. I've been like an information hoarder. But bottom line is what I'm learning now. I need to trust my gut. I need to go where I think that I need to go, regardless of what the trend is. And even then, it doesn't matter what my ideal client is if I don't know how I want to say things. First things first, I had to start saying a lot, very often on multiple platforms. And I needed to look at who was responding. Why are they responding? What are they responding with? Because that tells me what my niche is. That tells me where my audience is. That tells me who my tribe is. I can't go out there and write just for you guys. I got to write for me. Whatever the message is from the universe, I'm just the vessel. I'm here to send out the message. I'm here to send love and be as supportive and as encouraging as possible because that's just who I am on a daily basis. So that's as brand perfect as it gets. And once I start putting the message out over and over and over again, then I get to see who actually follows, who actually comments, what's going on, what do they want more of. So then I know where my niche is, what I need to learn more of, what do I need to focus on more? How do I get the message out there even more effectively than I am right now? So please, for those of you out there, if you're having trouble because people are asking you to write the ideal client outline, describe your ideal client, Barbie doll, exercises on who your ideal client looks like, acts like, what do they do in a daily life? I don't know. But I do know who I am. And I'm learning how I speak and what is the best way for me to speak. And honestly, the way I started speaking and the way I speak now, a little bit different. When I first started posting on Instagram, it was all other people's quotes. So then what I would do is find 2 or 3 quotes so it was enough of a caption. And then I'd find a picture that I really loved that had the message that was the essence of those 3 quotes. And then I'd put 1 word or 2 max to capture the idea that I want you to get when you read these quotes. Very, very simple. It was none of my own work except for the art, the design of the picture itself. Eventually, I felt like, all right, why am I taking other people's words? I know I can say this stuff pretty well too, and I need the audience to know who I am. So I changed. I started writing microblogs in the Instagram caption area, but the images were still the same. I started putting in a theme because then it encouraged me and got me excited about what am I going to post every day. It gave me a little bit of an order. It gave me a little bit of a structure, and I loved it. And now, once again, I'm changing it up. I'm not so stuck to the structure so much, but I still am doing the microblog. And guess what? I am branching out into different areas of my life because my emotional intelligence works in every area of my life. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn all the advice I got on its head and tell you, look, learn how you speak. How do you tell your story? How do you tell any story? What language do you use? What do you love? When you speak in person to somebody, how do you relate to them? Is it through movies and music like I do? Do you use your own personal examples like I do as well? Do you use books and things that you've learned? Like, how do you relate to the other person? And then start writing as much as you can. Because honestly, I don't think there's a single platform out there where you don't need to write a little bit of something. So I'm hoping this gave you another angle. I hope this gave you another something to chew on as far as marketing goes and your product or service. Because honestly, it just comes down to what you're comfortable with. Yes, you can pay people to tell you what they know, but bottom line is it's what they know and what works for them. It may not work for you, which is why you can't go back and sue them for giving you stuff that you already knew or didn't help you really. It's individual to their journey. Just like whatever you end up with is going to be individual to yours. So please give yourself the grace to grow. Don't tie yourself down to what one person is telling you need to do, or 3 people are telling you need to do, or what the trend happens to be at the moment. Do what feels good to you. I started off with really bright, bold pictures, big captions. I didn't have the full quote in the picture because everyone else was doing that, and I kind of just wanted to be different. Yeah, I'm going to ask like that. So I did me. And right now, when I ask my audience if I should change it up, they're like, no, we really like that actually. So here I am. I found my voice. I found the way I like to say things. And I'm sure it will evolve as time goes by, which means y'all get to grow with me as a brand. But in the meantime, I took what I could from the people I learned from, and the rest I discarded because it didn't fit me. And now, I'm kind of happy with the way I say things. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them in the comments below. But in the meantime, I will catch you again with another episode very, very shortly. All right, y'all take care. Bye.